We are road tripping with me, Jesse T, and the home sold guaranteed realty. All things real estate with me, Jesse T, and the home selling group. Good to have you along with me. I am going to be writing an offer about an hour from now for my clients that I took out and showed a property to in Simi Valley. And Simi Valley is a valley just west of the San Fernando Valley, which is a suburb to LA City. And it takes, from about downtown LA to get to Simi Valley. On any given day it would take a couple of hours because the traffic is so bad. There was a time you could do it in about 30 minutes, but not anymore. So I'm here on my way back to the Home Sold Guarantee Realty Executive Office. And by the way, like and share below and comments and questions, because we're road tripping today a little bit. I hope you like these little historical pieces that I put together. It's something that's always interests me to find out what yesteryear used to be like for people. But let me know. And if you're watching on YouTube, hey, please like, subscribe, and notify and become a free member. Because the larger membership we have, the better it is. And the more people that view, the more we can do for you. Anyway, I am here in Simi Valley, and I am at the original train station. I just changed the camera angle. This train station here was built in 1903. 1903. And the train station was part of the Southern Pacific Railroad system. And it would sit on the train tracks that took it all the way to Pacific Coast Highway, where that is today. This was would connect with the Pacific Coast Railroad, Union Pacific, that is, and they would connect where Point Hueneme is, more or less, kind of Oxnard, and then they would go up the coast to Santa Barbara, all the way up the coast to San Francisco. This was one of two routes that got you to San Francisco. One is straight up the route which follows Highway 99, and that goes straight into the backside of San Francisco. That was more of a direct route. This was more of a scenic route, but this serviced all the ranchers and the farmland and the farmers and all of their things here in Simi Valley, because Simi Valley was once just a giant ranch of wheat and barley and hay and cows and sheep. And so there were some farmlands here too as well. But anyhow, this is a 1903 vintage railroad station. And when you went to the railroad, which was good travel, remember, they didn't have planes, and the cars and the roads were pretty tough, you know. In 1903, they didn't really have a lot of cars, and people were still doing wagon and horseback. Only the very wealthy had some sort of steam engine or something like that, but not here. Not too many people had that. But you can see the old Western Union Telegraph and Cable Office, and this is how people used to be in contact with people all around the world. They'd come here and hit a little telegraph, which would be Morse code or Western Union, ... and that's how that would work. And this is all original stuff. I mean, look at the cool door. Look at the lock. You know, this is like major, not this one here, but this one here. They had this kind of key. You know, just major cool stuff. Wonder if we can get a peek inside. Let's see if we can get it. If you guys can get a peek inside, let's see. Can we really see anything? I can see a little bit. That's a mannequin waiting in the lobby. We'll see if we can get another peek here. And this is where the train master would be, and the telegraph operator would be, and the gentleman who would run the train. He'd be sitting right here looking out at the train tracks, as this mannequin here is doing, and he'd be in charge of the Western Union and the telegraph and the train keeping and the timekeeping and all that. Very cool stuff. Everybody lived a much simpler life. This was high tech. This is kind of what they'd come out here and they'd write the different train numbers and when they would leave, where they would departures, when they arrive, and this kind of stuff. And so you would walk up to this man here and buy your ticket. And so let's see if we can kind of come up here. You'd walk up here. You say, "Sir, I'd like a ticket to Santa Barbara." And he would say, "Okay," and he'd write you out a ticket here, and he'd say that'd be 50 cents, and you drop 50 cents in his pocket right there, and you get your train ticket. I gotta come here in the daytime, kind of clean the window off a little bit, see if I can see the plexiglass. You can see the typewriter back there, and that's where they would type up messages, and they handled it. There's a telegram machine right there. You kind of see it in the corner. That kind of turned into the UPS. Took them over, or not UPS, AP took them over, bought them out. That turned into the AP service. You can see the ticker tape down below there. Maybe you can't, maybe you can. I hope you can. But look how they were dressed, and they had a little earpiece on, and that's how they would send the ... dash and the Morse code right there. ... dash dash ... dash dash ... You know what that means? If you go that means SOS, and that's how that works. Then you get your ticket and you come out here and you wait for the train to come on by. And the train tracks were very close to the station house. They were very close to the station house. They weren't far away. They were very, very close, and that's how close they were. You can see the train tracks, and kind of those are original train tracks that they moved here, so you can get an idea of what the train tracks look like. This train tracks right here, this is a train that comes down and follows the same line that it followed since the 1890s. In the 1890s, Southern Pacific decided to put in a tunnel under the Rocky Peak here, the Santa Susana Rocky Peak, and that tunnel is still there. And they cut a tunnel through there, and it was the longest tunnel in 1890 in the world for a train to go through. And it's pretty amazing. When we were teenagers, kind of the rite of passage, you'd have to go up on the other side of the tunnel when a train would come through the tunnel, and you have to lay yourself flat against the tunnel wall, and while the train was going by. Yeah, we all did that. Of course, we'd take the girls up there and scare the heck out of them, and in that respect. But that was a lot of fun. Very dangerous, because you know, something could be hanging off the tree, for God's sakes. But or hanging off the train, that is, for God's sakes. But we did it anyway, and that's what we did. It's sort of a rite of passage. Santa Susana passed the tunnel. We called it the tunnel. And we got up there and drink some beer and stuff. I didn't drink, but all my buddies did. But this train still runs active all the way down the line here. And this line will take you, with the sun shining in your face, will take you all the way up the coast to Santa Barbara, all the way to San Francisco. So this was a baggage room. The baggage here, you had a freight room, and you had down on that side would have been where the livestock would be, like horses and stuff, and they would have a corral too for horses and cows and pigs and that kind of stuff. But that would be the freight room area, where they would keep freight. What was freight? Vegetables and food and equipment that they would build. This is a baggage room for people that would have their baggages. And you can see the doors. I love the way the doors look, because, you know, this is called a 4-pane door. This is a pane right here. 1 pane, 2 pane, 3 pane, 4 pane. But, you know, people weren't as tall as they are today. They weren't as big. And this is raised on a foundation here, but the doors are a little smaller. Very cool, in the wrought iron and the windows. And this is the office of the Railway Express Agency. and you'd pay your bills. You could put your bills in there, and that's where the mail would go. And the reason why trains were robbed, because that's the way the post office used to send through, like express agencies like this. The post office would send postal mail and stuff, but also each train had a big safe, because this is the way money was transferred. It was safer to transfer it by train than it was by horse or by wagon, because they would be robbed by bad guys on the road. The train would be a little more difficult to do, but that's why robbers would rob the train, because trains had money at one time, lots of it. But now money is transferred electronically, so you don't have to deal with that. Santa Susana train station, elevation 1,100 feet above sea level. Now, this is not the location of where this train was. This is not the location, the exact location of the train station. It was moved here in 1970. In 1961, the train station was basically retired from 1903 to 1961 and serviced the Simi Valley area. This was the way. This is where it was at. The train station fell into bad condition, and so they moved it in 1970 to this location and made it a museum. And a lot of people think this was the original location of the train. No, it wasn't. The original location of this train station is down this street here, down to the left, down where Tapo Canyon Road and Los Angeles Avenue start. And that's where the railroad track originally used to go. This new railroad track here, this was put in here after the 1970s, 1980s. But the track would come down from the tunnel, down right down to Los Angeles Avenue, and go straight out Los Angeles Avenue. Those train tracks are still there, because this train here, these modern train tracks melt into those, transition into those train tracks a little farther down. But the original train station was Los Angeles Avenue and Tapo, and that's where this train station was. And they had a lot of land around there, because that's, as I said, they'd have cattle and cows and pigs and whatever, as well as wood, and they'd move dirt and gravel, mining stuff, and they would also have food and ranching stuff, wheat, barley, hay, oats, as well as passengers going towards Santa Barbara and San Francisco, and passengers going towards Los Angeles and under the Susana Pass. So this was moved here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little piece about this road tripping, and I'll drop some pictures in here of the original train station, where it was at, and when they moved it in 1970. I was 10 years old in 1970, so I do remember this train station being at Tapo and Los Angeles Avenue. My grandma and grandpa, they used to like to come out to Simi Valley, because my grandfather was a farm boy from Pana, Illinois, originally, and my grandma and grandpa used to come out here, and they would buy fruit and vegetables, fresh fruit and fresh vegetables out here, and sometimes we'd take a ride down to the Pacific Ocean, or Simi Valley had a lot of horses and stuff, and grandpa liked that kind of stuff. Liked to come out here and shoot his gun too, and that's when you could really almost carry a side gun still in 1903. Of course, by 1960s, when I remember this station, 1968, 1969, they had already retired. Nobody was using it, but I do remember where it was at. This kind of connects, this track will connect to the train station in North Hollywood, or the Lancashire train station. And that line was put in by Isaiah Lancashire, which connected to this line because he had the largest wheat farm in all of America. He owned half of the San Fernando Valley, which is about almost 200,000 acres. San Fernando Valley is pushing about 400,000 acres, and he owned half of it. And he had the largest wheat farm, so he had to have a way, instead of wagon training his wheat all the way to Los Angeles, the depot there, he would, which was a treacherous and dangerous journey at that time in the 1860s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, he put in that railroad track about 1880 at his own cost over his own land, and he had a train depot put there, a train station, and it would look very similar to this. This is a two-story one. The reason why this is two-story is because the train master lived in this train station. He not only worked here, but he lived upstairs in the train station when it was over at the original location. Saying hi to Twyla Bell and Annette Kama. Just kind of road tripping with you. It's me, Jesse T. Done with my client. I'm going to be writing an offer for them. Beautiful house here in Simi Valley. By the way, like and share this. Any comments below? And if you want to buy a house, we're the place to come for off-market houses and get you the best houses at the lowest price that are on the market. First come, first serve kind of stuff. We're right on the spot, and we found some great houses today to look at. And I think we might win on this one. So that would be fantastic for my buyers, first-time buyers, and right around in the mid $600,000 price range. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then, on my way back to the Home Sold Guarantee Realty Executive Office and Manor, we're opening up a new office in the Antelope Valley. So I'll be headed back there right now. Burbank won't let us open up my office yet there. So we're opening up a new one in the Antelope Valley. That's really the best price area in Southern California for a nice, new, clean, pretty houses in decent neighborhoods. But I always like to do a lot of road tripping on the side. By the way, if you do want to get a house and you're looking to do that before the prices go up over $700,000 to $800,000 here in the Southern California area, give us a call for first-time home buyers and off-market listings. Give us a call at 1-844-402-4222, extension 1051 for first-time buyers and secondary buyers, and that'll lead you towards your journey in finding off-market listings. We specialize in off-market listings, and we sell them fast. We have over 2,500 people in our buyer and waiting club membership program, and you can get involved in that. It's free and no obligation. And then we will take care of your loan for you, make you a cash buyer without having a lot of cash, or as close to a cash buyer as we can, because we'll get you fully approved at the underwriter level. And we'll be red hot and rolling in that respect. So if you want to do that, give us a call. We'd love to help you out there, all right? And we always have our program for sellers, and that is Your Home Sold Guaranteed, or I'll Buy It. Of course, what would you expect from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, right? And me, Jesse T. What would you expect? Of course, that's our guarantee in writing. So we'll make that happen. If you are thinking about selling your house, before you even do anything, talk to us last, because we'll make you a promise and a guarantee. We'll buy your house on the spot, and you can have that and be yours. So for sure, your house will always be sold. You won't get caught in the catch-22 of real estate. So give us a call there at 1-844-402-4222, extension 1045, and we'll hook you up there. So let's get back to our little road tripping journey here. So I'm going to walk up to the stairs. This is sort of like the lobby. This is the office. I think you can get a better idea. Yeah, there we go. Got a big pot-belly stove in here. And this would be the waiting room area, because this is the luxury, a nice warm stove, a nice warm pot-belly heater to sit by, play checkers or whatever. And they've got a little town of Corriganville, and that's what the town looked like when the train station. That's down below where they originally moved the train station from. The first city out here was called Corriganville, and it was just a, your typical Western shoot 'em up saloon town, rancher town, and the train station at one end. All right, and that's sort of a good representation, a model of Corriganville, and that was just right down there on Los Angeles Avenue and Tapo Canyon in 1903. So, interesting thing about these early 20th century buildings, they were built here on the spot. They didn't bring in cut wood and everything. Literally, they would bring in planks of wood, and they would notch them. They would make the doors right on the spot. They would make all the 2x4s and see, those aren't 2x4s; those are 2x6s. That look. I mean, today they construct rafters with 2x4s. They constructed these rafters with 2x6s, and those are real 2x6s. Look how thick that wood is right there. You go to the Home Depot now, a 2x6 is more like 1 3/4 by 5.5. It's not, but they sell it as a 2x6. These things were made to last forever and ever and ever. So it's kind of very cool. We'll kind of walk out here, and we'll finish up our grand tour here. This is a beautiful area of the San Fernando Valley, Simi Valley area. Simi Valley is a gorgeous area. It's about 20 minutes just from the Pacific Ocean. Used to be all farmers and ranchers. Beautiful oak trees. These are California oak trees. These oak trees are 400 or 500 years old. When they get to be that thick over there, California oak trees, that means they've lived here for 400 or 500 years. The Chumash Indians were the Indians, the indigenous people up here, and they were very peaceful. They weren't like the Comanche, which were warrior Indians. In fact, the Comanche Indians of the plains were the greatest warrior Indians ever in the history of North America. They were some tough guys, man, and gals. So this would be where people would come in and drop off their freight, and you see, and that would be baggage over there in the wagon there. Be, you know, dragged or moved, pulled along by a horse, and those would be milk containers and different people's bags. And can you imagine going across the United States of America and something like that? Pretty amazing. See these two trunks like this? I've got two trunks like this. You know what that trunk costs? That trunk costs, if you went to Beverly Hills, that would be a $500 trunk like that. That antique item, maybe more. That's all handmade with metal and wood, nails handmade. I have two of them. Here's another one with the leather straps. Beautiful, man. I've got two of those. So this is what your typical baggage containers would look like. I mean, you know, you were strong when you worked out here at that timeline. You know, this was a citrus truck, and this is your typical truck, old truck. Hey, sir, how you doing? Got you little Dalmatian dog? Yeah. Hey, I got those kind of work gloves right there. Love this truck. What is it? Let me tell you what it is. That's a Chevy. Okay. And you see this hole right there? That's the crank, where they would crank it. It's a 37 Chevy. Look at that. Those big headlights. Isn't that something? You know what that truck is worth, completely renovated? Probably about 30 grand. Well, that was better than being pulled in a wagon, that's for sure. See the big barrel? They put water in there, or they put usually wine and stuff like that. And the cork would be right there, whiskey or whatever. Everything seemed to be big and solid and huge, doesn't it? You know, well, it was, because they made things with the idea of lasting, not the idea of built-in obsolescence, what they do today. I mean, you're looking at things that are over 100 years old here. 125 years old. It's a wonder that they just leave them out here. That's pretty amazing. Oh, well, they got cameras everywhere. That's good. All right. So that's kind of what we do when we get sidetracked with me, Jesse T, and the Home Sold Guarantee Realty. Yours truly, all things real estate, Jesse T, and the Home Selling Group. I get sidetracked, and I love these road tripping things. I don't know, it interests me. I'm curious. Yeah, I'm like a walking tour guide. I can go anywhere in the world and give you a history lesson on what's happening. It's pretty amazing. I've just been interested in that stuff my whole life. I love history. I got a 4,500 book library. I do, actually. I've read them all, too. Crazy, huh? It's just wacky. I'm weird that way. Let's see what this says right here. Let's see what this plaque says before we go. I'll read it to you. Santa Susana Railroad Depot. Centennial Celebration, 1903 to 2003. Built by the Southern Pacific Railroad in 1903 at Los Angeles Avenue and Tappo Street. Moved to its present site in 1975. Designated by the Ventura County Heritage Board in 1976 as County Historical Landmark number 21. Rancho Simi Recreation and Park District, March 14, 2003. Well, the reason why they say Rancho Simi, because this was known as Rancho Simi, and it was owned by a family. So the whole Simi Valley, which is about not quite 100,000 acres, somewhere around 50,000 to 70,000 acres. It's small compared to the San Fernando Valley, but one family owned it and ranched it since California became a state in 1843, 1847. All right, road tripping with me, Jesse T. Brought to you by the only place that gives you the home sold guarantee. We'll buy your house if we don't sell it for an acceptable price. The only place that gives you off-market listings that nobody else knows about. The only place that provides you the opportunity to become a cash buyer without having all the cash at the underwriter level. Yeah, and the only place that you get to do some road tripping with all things real estate and me, Jesse T. And the home sold guaranteed realty. Like and share this, comment and question, any kind of information you need. 1-800-684-8699. If it don't start right, it don't end right. So let's start it right. You and me. Together, everybody achieves more. See ya. Gonna go write an offer time. Gonna go make somebody happy. A family's gonna get a house.